Ice and Sheo getting chased down by this angry, light-eating monster. No wonder Vetti played it. It cleans house.
I have BQ, triple Q.
Nice, well played.
Well played, Seo, baby. Nice mine.
Oh my god, well played.
Well played, guys. Okay, guys, they're really bad, okay?
I think, yeah.
They can only win by cheesing level and sit like this, so let's be careful of Valana.
Like Niski here, who's about to die. He should have gone to the website. Use the code Legend15, Niski. So Luon, he wants a hand, but Ice won't let him get away. No. Rocket. Oh my god! But in the pit show, he's just trying to take the Baron. He eventually knocks it down. Fails this flash.
That was a quick one, guys. Well played. One more week.
I think on Baron you guys are trolling by the way.
One more week before vacation. That's good. Let's go.
And welcome back to the LEC live from the Riot Games Arena in Berlin, Germany. Today we keep on going with the elimination matches as of now. One team will continue to face off against BDS next Friday. And for the other one, the LEC season is gonna be over, sadly, so no more second chances for these teams. I'm Laure and I will be joined by Aragon and Finn. I feel like we're gonna talk about top lane today, maybe seeing the two of you on the desk.
Can I just say, we have too many top laners on the analyst desk.
Right?
Between all of us and Odo, I think it's too many. I don't know.
We're gonna need to have a 1v1 contest.
Yeah, we should.
And whoever loses is no longer on the desk.
The better one
Kicked
stays.
out.
Yeah, kicked out. And that's what we're going to see today, unfortunately. And that's what we saw yesterday as well. SK out, finishing their season. It's really sad for this team, honestly, Finn, given the way they started the year, given the way they started summer and completely crumbled yet again. It's always the same story with this team.
I mean, they really came into the summer split with a bang, and they actually showed so much to give us and instill hope in us. But then to see them lose in the playoffs once again, like they always do, it's very disheartening to see.
Yeah, but on the other hand, Aragon, really happy to see BDS perform the way they did. Yeah. They're back to good things, waiting for great things, because we know what they're capable of, but at least a glimpse of hope on their side.
Yeah, I think the big thing with BDS is they had some better individual performances, specifically with Adam and Nuke, but also I think the big overarching narrative is that this was the best performance we've seen from BDS in about a month and a half. I feel like they just have
not hard though, but yeah.
they just haven't had a good series in so long.
Which is interesting is that Adam was never worried, actually. Talking to him yesterday, he was like, it's just a fluke, we're gonna come back. They had the trust within them.
Yeah, I mean, even listening to Euphoria, it seems like he never had any doubts regarding the fact that they were a top 3 team or not. They really knew that they would come back, and showing better than against Casey and against Fnatic, very important for them.
Showing better and showing confidence, also bringing new picks to the table. I'm actually thinking about Cassiopeia on top lane on the side of Adam. We saw a lot of weird picks with the meta lately. I'm not sure if it's a case of flavor of the week for the LEC, so let's talk about this Cassio quickly. Something situational, I feel here.
Yeah, I mean, it's really hard because I feel like now we're stepping into the fog of war of top lane and jungle as well to some degree, because we actually don't know what to expect when these teams go up. Everyone has their own little niche that they like to play. The Cassio into Rumble has been an answer for many, many years, and to see Adam bring it out was very exciting.
And we saw Mervin bringing the Corki top lane as well, a flex that we expect to see again. Maybe do you like it or not?
Corki was something I was dabbling with at the start when he got reworked, but a champion that I'm definitely extremely passionate about is this Nocturne. I think it's absolutely horrible. Right? I think it's a complete scrim pick, and I get the idea, right? Every team had a month or several weeks off to come up with something that counters the meta, something that counters 80 carries, and they came up with Dive. The problem is you put yourself on such a timer that in these games, post 20 minutes, if you don't get a huge lead or you make one mistake, which we saw yesterday or the last week as well, you just become a minion as Nocturne, right? You get a GA, you get a Sterak's, and if you go in, you're completely useless.
Yeah, and every Yin needs a Yang, and every bad pick like Nocturne needs a good pick like Lilia, because I think Lilia has been popping off lately in the LPL. She's been played so much globally, but not really here in Europe, which is very surprising due to, I think Yike is one of our best Lilias in the region. When he came up, he was playing the Lilia, he was playing the Belveth, invading and making life so annoying for the enemy junglers. I really want them to bounce back on this pick and try to pick it up today.
I mean, here to pick it today, right?
Yeah, right.
It is
surely.
now that it comes, surely.
It's not like every single desk I've had for G2, I've said, please, can you pick Yike? Okay, so realistically, the thing is, I spoke to Yike.
Yeah.
Okay, and he was saying, basically, in previous metas, they just valued Brand more. Brand was just better, other AP champs were just better. So maybe now, you know, since nerfs, they're going to pick it up again.
It's a case of whatever G2 feels like playing, honestly, lately. We'll see what they come up today, but for now, there's hope on the side of GX to bring G2 down, and it's going to come from the mid lane, so take it away, GB.
Thank you very much, Law. Yeah, I still think today G2 is coming into this series as favorites, but they obviously lost to MDK, and I think by losing to MDK, MDK exploited some of the struggles that G2 has had recently in their early games, and I actually think that GX might be able to replicate some of the ways that G2 was exploited. So, we're going to go through some very standard things that you have seen a million times. The MDK bot lane gets priority. Wow, I know, crazy concept, but bear with me, because what this is going to allow them to is once again do something you've seen a million times. Super's going to have a favorable back that allows him to get back to lane faster, while Alvaro gets out on the map faster, while Hans and Mickey is still stuck in lane, trying to push it out to get themselves a good crash. But now let's take stock of what's actually happened then, because this allows Elyoya and Alvaro to sync up together way before the G2 members get to do. Let's see where they are right now. Mickey has only now just made it back in base. Yike is luckily hovering around mid lane because he needs to be worried about the fact that they know that Alvaro just reset. They might come in for a play on mid lane and they need to be ready to answer that play. G2 have seen this play a million times themselves. So how do they react to that? Well, they are still around here, but suddenly it starts going wrong for some reason. Yike is setting up his recall, and Caps is going to start taking some very aggressive trades, putting himself in a position where Elyoya and Varo will actually be able to punish him. And they're doing so while you look at the minimap that Mickey has still not made his way into mid lane. He's still so far away. So Yike is going to complete the recall, leaving Caps out to dry. Caps, for some reason, is going to step forward while his jungler just left the map. And Mickey only now just comes in. This is something that is such a standard play in League of Legends that you should not fall for. But we saw G2 fall for this place not only this one time, but also early in the series when they were playing the Annie. And hopefully this is something that GX can exploit today, where they get a bot lane with priority, and that allows them to play with a favorable tempo for Jackies, who has been a star player for GX. And now Gennaro is actually standing by with Jackies as well, and assisting Coach Nico in the Marriott Bonvoy pre-game lobby.
Thank you so much. Ginny here, and I'm joined with Jackies as well as Nicholas from GX. Guys, let's have a little bit of a conversation ahead of the first best of 5 that we're going to be looking at today. It's going to be going up against G2. And I want to start off with you, Nicholas, particularly because of a tweet regarding the preparation that came into this and controlling the variables of a best of 5 environment in the scrims, but then also to be able to replicate it on stage. Can we maybe have a little bit on an insight of the science and the thought process behind it?
It was mainly an idea of our performance coach, Cardonetti. So the global goal for this exercise was to create an atmosphere that was looking like best of 5. So we were putting like a noise of G2 fans. We were like giving the same nutritional follow-up as we were doing in best of 5 to the players. So the idea is just to create a comfort zone towards all these variables to allow the players to just be more comfortable on stage.
So that's something that's going to be tested out today, Jackies, when it comes to these best of 5 series. When I talk about the preparation that went into this, when it comes to getting comfortable with these variables, for you as a player, does it make you feel more comfortable going on stage today?
I mean, the one we prepared, I'm pretty sure the BO5 we played, we lost in scrims, so not really. But for me, I mean, I don't really mind anything about BO5s and nerfs, because for me, BO5, more games on stage, and I enjoy playing on stage, so for me, it's just like BO5 means more fun, you know?
Well, you're going to be having fun against Caps, particularly in that mid lane. And this is a matchup that a lot of people have been looking forward to, and we've seen a couple of times in the LEC during the regular split. Coming into this, you're coming this year in as a rookie, and this is potentially the match, right? It could end here, it could continue, but you're going up against the most decorated player that we have in the league. What does that feel like?
I mean, for me, it's always exciting because playing against Caps, you know, even if he has bad form, good form, like it's just Caps, you know. So it's always gonna be fun on mid lane, and he's one of the aggressive players, and I like to play aggressive myself. So for sure, one of the more fun matchups. And just if I can take him down in a BO5, then I think I'm ready to take on the whole season finals if you take this one.
All right, I'm excited. You're talking a big game, but I also want to look at it from a coach's perspective. When we're heading into these BO5s, you're already talking about the prep and making the players a little bit more comfortable. What else is there that you can really do to ensure that when you are going the distance, when you have to go all the way to those 5 games, could be a couple of hours, what can you do to make them perform at their best?
I mean, I think like our main job as coach right now, looking all the meta, how the meta is going, etc. It's more about adaptability. I think like you never know how a game is going in the best of 5. You never know the drafts. You never know all the enemy preparation. You never know you never know. So the main concern that we have with Cass and Amy is to always be sure that we can adapt the best as possible. Because like we just need to change every pick, we just need to change our preparation, and also based on how the game is going, we also need to react differently after with the players individually or with the group. So I think it's just adaptability.
Okay, I'm looking forward to that stability, but also I'm looking forward to the fun in the mid lane later today. So good luck to both of you with the series, and Laure, back to you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Ginny. Amazing to hear from GX and what looks to be, honestly, an insane preparation coming up against G2 today, but it is do or die for them. It is their time to show that the efforts they put in all summer are gonna come in clutch today, and I love the confidence on the side of Jackies because realistically, guys, if you look at GX and what they've been doing, Jackies is I don't want to say the only thing, but what is going the best in the early game for GX at least, because the rest is a hot mess on the other side.
And I like that it's coming with his confidence, because if you go against G2, you can't come in docile, you can't be passive when you walk in there. You have to be ready to fight them on the map, in the trenches, wherever they are. So seeing him come in there, we know GX has struggled in the early game because most often the side lanes of top lane and bot lane are usually behind. So having Jackies as their anchor to actually be the way to get them into this mid game without being too behind is very, very important for them to succeed.
I think it was really curious that he was talking a lot about adaptability, the coach of Giant X, in that interview, because to me, they're one of the most one-dimensional teams in the entire league, right? You have a tank top lane, a tank jungle, a tank support, and 2 damage dealers in your carry roles. And that's it, every single time, unless the Antonio has something new prepared, like a Ziggs, hint, hint, for later on. No, but the point is, I think it's exploitable, right? I think you can target Jackies, and if you get rid of some of the damage dealers, because they need a lot of damage coming from these roles, if you target ban them, for example, champions like the Azir, champions like the Zeri.
You know what? Yeah, let's bring up Jackie's champion pool and tell me what you think is targetable and where is the avenue for victory here on the side of GX when you look at the champions he's playing.
Yeah, so fundamentally in drafts, the problem with Giant X is that you need a lot of damage from somewhere, and you're not getting it top lane, so you need it from Jackies and Patrick, and therefore you're stuck to a certain archetype of champion that does a lot of DPS for neutrals, for shredding tanks, and so on. And if you target ban these champions away, champions like the Azir that enable you to do this, I think it's definite weakness that you can exploit in draft if you're G2.
Yeah, but we'll see how it is coming in, because will he keep playing these AD carry mids that he's shown so much success on, or is he going to adapt for this series? Because we don't know if they're actually going to stay the same as they've been before.
I want to look at the side of G2 quickly here, because the game is about to start soon, and I'm really worried when it comes to what I saw from G2 last week, and I'm thinking about an avenue of mistakes you can exploit, and I feel like it came from draft.
Yeah, I mean, G2's draft last week was very uncertain. I think you brought up the point that they really drafted heavily into these dive comps. Yeah. You can, as you said.
Yeah. So the thing is, right? I think this might be full copium, but I think they were experimenting and they were falling back on the fact that they had a lower bracket to work with. They kept forcing the same kind of. It is. They kept forcing the same thing over and over again, despite it not working and being incredibly hard to pilot. They have full dive into a bunch of AD carries with Cannon Blind non-stop with the Vi, and I don't think they're going to do that again. In this lower bracket run, I imagine they're going to put, for example, BB on counter pick and not blind pick the Cannon, as well as go away from the Vi.
Yeah, and my big question is the Hansama drafts, because he has been criticized for his champion pool, that he didn't want to play the Seri, the Jinx, and he's always leaned towards this Draven and Kalista, and I really want them to choose now, because now it's the end of the series, end of the season, and you have to choose. Do you want him to play these champions, or do you just commit to the Draven and Kalista and try to force these bans like they did in spring?
Realistically, if there's hope on the side of GX, where would you put it? We've talked about a lot lot of stuff, but closing note on this ahead of the first game.
I'm gonna say ignore. This
Ignore?
guy, he
Okay.
stepped up to the plate many times against SKT, against G2 last year when he was on Energy, and I think he can do it again. If there's a hope of it, there's there.
We don't talk about walls, but maybe he can pull this one and the metal trick on G2. We'll see about this in just a few seconds, as we're gonna find out if G2 is back to their usual strength or if GX is gonna be able to concretize all the efforts they put in this summer. It has to come in clutch now. One mistake and it's elimination on the line for one of these teams. The losing one will end their LEC season, while the winner will advance on the road to Munich. Only surprises, no more second chances. Casters, over to you.